Hello and welcome to Talkin Jake, myself, BBD, and special guest today, Corbin Burnes, Cy Young winner from your and our Milwaukee Brewers. Good conversation with him. It was a little slightly interviewee at first, but we hadn't seen each other in a minute. We hadn't seen him since the incident, the John Boy hamstring fiasco. And he was here with the PR guy, but then as the conversation started rolling a little bit, and Beebs, I'll ask you this. I don't know how the audio was. He was kind of missing the mic a little bit, but I wasn't
far away. I haven't given it the full check, but I was adjusting during, and I think
he's all around it. He just wasn't like into it.
The audience won't notice.
And then who the fuck am I to say, hey, grab the mic? I think it was fine. He was all around it. So
yeah, I was able to bump you down, bump him up.
He's fun. He's a dude. He's about it. We hung out with him a lot. That famous trip out to Milwaukee, he just hung out before the game for like half hour with us, just yucking it, baseball, life, everything.
We had just met him.
We
had prior interactions.
Didn't know what we were getting into, and that was the year he went on to win the Cy Young. So that's pretty cool. So we talked some Brewers, talked some baseball with him. I always like when we do talk to ball players, you get a good perspective of how they view other teams. And it's never like crazy different. It's never like, you guys wouldn't believe it. The Nationals are cracked this year. But no, like amongst the good teams, like they'll walk away and be like, damn, that team has guys on it. So I asked him about that. So we'll get to some Corbin Burnes. And while we're highlighting him as a star, it is a great episode to highlight a couple other stars. Let me check this box quick. Yankees lost to the A's last night. The office isn't surprised. We are sad. Without Judge, the Yankees are putting up 3 runs per game. Would easily be worst in baseball. The offense is putrid. Any bad word you'd like to use? Aaron Judge won the MVP last year. He broke the home run record. He controversially won the MVP last year. I did think he deserved it last year. Which transitions us into Shohei. We could do Shohei every episode. You get some good clicks from Shohei. In a way, he's always doing something kind of special. He has gone nuts. And it was highlighted last night. The games when he pitches, it obviously brings a little more light to it, because if you do anything offensively, all right, Shohei went 7 innings, 2 earned, and he had a double. Because that doesn't happen anymore. NL, remove the DH, catch up. Our guy June Lee just tweeted this. What Shohei is on track for this season. He's on track to be a 5 B-WAR pitcher. He has a 3.02 ERA, a 104 whip. He's on pace for 254 strikeouts. Offensively, reminder, there were some scouts that didn't think he would stick offensively. 56 homer pace after a 2-homer night last night. 128 RBI. 304, 384 with a 654 slugging. June Lee highlighted that comparable to last year, that would be Shohei Ohtani being Max Scherzer, who was really good. He got banged up a couple times. 23 starts, a 2.29. So Shohei's on pace to have a couple more starts at a slightly lesser rate. Manny Machado finished second in the NL MVP last year. And Shohei offensively is on pace to do what Manny did offensively and defensively last year. So I think the MVP's already wrapped up. You say that, you can knock on wood a little bit if you're superstitious or whatever. He has 6.1 WAR on the season. He's on pace for 12.5. We're at the halfway point of the season. We did a little bit of that Monday. 12.2 WAR season would be all time for a lot of different reasons. Oh, God. The amount of bold on his page as a hitter is crazy before you get to his 16 starts. The lowest hit per 9 allowed in the AL, and the highest K per 9 in the AL among starters, which he did last year too, as he finished 4th in the Cy Young last year. It's really cool for baseball that he's doing this. It's really cool for him and what he's doing for the Angels. That, knock on wood, I think we're going to get some Halos postseason baseball, and it should be one of those funny snapshots to look back at and be like, oh, Mike Trout was kind of considered the best to play, probably before Shohei, if Shohei continues at any rate close to this. Shohei being a free agent for baseball this year is going to be amazing. It's going to be our biggest offseason ever. Easily. When all of that goes down. And our guy Trevor Plouffe, you might have seen him on your Immaculate Grid today. You know, Trevor was pretty, in a not media way last year, Trevor was like, Shohei's the MVP. Because he hits and he pitches, both at a high level.
These two guys.
I disagreed. I thought Judge deserved it. I don't want to say I'm being rewarded right now with how bad the Yankees are without Aaron Judge. But there's also a lot of other metrics. Like, Judge outwarred Shohei last year. You know, some people live by that. I don't. How good Shohei was pitching last year was crazy. 2.33 ERA.
Eek.
219 strikeouts in 166 innings. And that's where Trevor's can never be wrong in that argument is none of the other hitters do that, are a one starter. None of the other one starters, and this is where Shohei got hurt last year, were very good hitters. Shohei finished 273, 356, and 875 OPS, which, again, that's incredibly good. Of guys that got MVP votes, it was the sixth best OPS. And think about the guys we're talking about ahead of him. Rafael Devers last year, 879 OPS. Basically the same hitter as Rafael Devers, who got MVP votes, 2%. How about Altuve's last year? 921 OPS. One of the best years of his career. Mike Trout, who is his teammate, 999 OPS. Maybe that ended up hurting Shohei a little bit last year. Judge did 1.111 while breaking the home run record. Judge led in runs, homers, RBI, walks, OBP, slugging, OPS. To say Shohei is not the MVP, it's hard to argue against. He does something that nobody else can do. Judge broke a record, the American League record, excuse me. The AL record for home runs. And I don't know how the way the Yankees look without him this year. I think they dropped to 11-13 without Judge.
Yeah, honestly, better number than it feels like.
They survived a homestand that these Yankees are currently bringing out a sicko. I mean, go check out Joe's McFly's feed. He's just reliving the 2009 Yankees right now. He can't stop. For myself, I'm looking back at some of these Yankee stretches and almost, I don't want to say wishing they were punished more, but the Yankees still are giving us a chunk of hope.
Like they're kind of following that 2017 Yankees formula we referenced, where they've been. We'll see exactly where this month lands. If they win out, it's a exactly 500 month, I believe, and
yeah,
we're on pace.
I guess that's where I don't want the Yankees to lose. They lost to the Oakland Athletics last night. There's a part of me that wants them to be sitting at the end of the month like, oh shoot, we went 11-14. That's who we are.
We're out of the playoffs.
Like if they get to 500, they just get to say the same old mannerisms, and it's gonna happen. And this is baseball. It's not, it's not easy. It ebbs and flows. Part of me is so sick of that mentality. My shower thoughts this morning were, Paul O'Neill freaking out and just being so pissed off with like 1-for-4s. A lot of Yankees would kill for 1-for-4s right now. Jorge Posada was a known hothead. And this is what we do as fans, and especially as we get older, and eventually it becomes so old you get tuned out a little bit. Shout out to Bob Ryan, who's still doing it in Boston sports. But, sometimes Uncle Bobby says a couple lines, and you're like, whoa, I don't know. I don't know about that, Bob. And I'll be there one day, and I'm excited for that. But, man, the Yankees need a panic. And baseball people fight that so much within the game, and it's two different things. It's yes, baseball's tough and stay the course, and you're going to have some days you're going to hit the ball hard and you'll have 0-for-4s, and that's baseball. That is not what the Yankees are doing. They're having bad at-bats. Giancarlo Stanton with one of the worst 2-0 swings I've ever seen on a bad fastball. And they need a freak out. Part of me wants Garrett Cole to snap on the team. Garrett Cole has that competitor in him. He's the most locked in when he's not pitching, when he is pitching. The Yankees need a snap. Without Aaron Judge, they're the worst offense in baseball. Last year, they were a good offense strictly because Aaron Judge. Reminder, 62 home runs. Trout was second in the AL with 40. So what would have been the top AL home run leader, he followed that up with another 22. That's another full season. Judge had an offensive season that is 3 good players. 10.6 WAR, that's 3.5. Never been a math pod. That's 3.5 WAR players, right?
Yeah.
Just
over.
Carry the 1.
There's a 3 repeating at the end, but yeah.
Bo Bichette was a 3.6 WAR player last year. So the whole argument that, Shohei's 2 players and 2 very different players and how impressive that is, I still think the Judge thing was right last year. I think the Yankees are showing a little bit of that. I think Judge showed a little bit of that. Ohtani's turned the knob up.
Mm-hmm.
He's on pace. He finished last year with 9.6, which, by the way, if he lands there, I don't think anyone's going to be in that realm again. Judge broke the home run record. Played a lot of center field last year. That's going to be one of those weird blurbs that when we're old guys rambling about, we'll mention.
The Shohei stuff, last year, it was Judge had one of the probably the greatest offensive season in the last, certainly in the last 60 years.
Argument ever.
Bonds notwithstanding. Sure. And he set himself up for failure. We said it a lot after that 2021 season. Too good. We set a weird standard for you, Shohei. We're now you might cost yourself some MVPs when if you're just kind of as good as last year, you'll almost always get it unless a guy has the best season ever. Which Judge did. So it's a couple things feeding into each other there. That Judge was the right call. But Shohei, just about any other year, kind of whatever he does, yeah.
Shohei's 3rd multi-homer game of the year, 2 homers each time. He now has 4 games where he's pitched and homered. I really want an Angels home game in the playoffs, and I don't know if we're going to get there. That would mean they would have to jump the Orioles or get into that first wild card slot, which they haven't shown yet. Shohei Ohtani is appointment television. I think I'm going to start watching every one of his games to the best of my ability. And I think you should too, because we've become so numb to it because it's the world of social media and it's the world of seeing things. But, when you hear this could be once in a lifetime. This might not ever happen again. You hear Glass now on the Chris Rose rotation talking about, when people say, do they believe in aliens? He's like, I've seen one. It's Shohei. How hard it is to do that. How hard it is to do my job. Tyler Glasnow is one of the few people in the world that can be as good as Shohei Ohtani pitching on a given night. It blows his mind that he can also go hit as good as any of the best players in the world. So I think Shohei Ohtani, always health included, although if he took the rest of the year off, he would have a fantastic MVP argument.
He may have done enough.
If he took the rest of the year off, he would still have a chance at MVP, and we are at the halfway point of the season. And that's what you get when you're two players. He's incredible. I think there was some good juxtaposition with him playing, with Judge not playing, and how bad the Yankees are. There's one other well, two things we need to check off that we stumbled into this morning. Elly De La Cruz, new star of the game. Jeff Passan just came out with an article that also mentions that Elly De La Cruz has a twin brother who's 5'8".
Unreal.
That's really tough, man. I mean, what's the biggest... Like, I know a couple twins, and I think, they're usually, 1 or 2 inches apart. Or they're not, because they're twins.
If they're separated, it's still, same tier, typically.
I mean, 5'8" to 6'5". That's one of the more brutal twin things I've read, and this is obviously coming from a short king. So,
Danny DeVito made a whole movie about how this is, fake.
A similar
thing.
It's a joke. And, hey, shout out to Pedro De La Cruz. I hope they replicate that picture, because that's fun. Oh, Jeff Passan ends the first paragraph with, made inconceivable by the fact that his fraternal twin isn't even average height for men globally. I don't think that's true, Jeff. I thought global men's height.
5'8's the number.
Oh, it's up to 5'9". Damn.
Well,
Passan was so happy for that.
Let's keep promoting the old number.
Is Passan 5'9"?
About.
The other thing I wanted to note again, because it was a big story yesterday, we covered it the first time, and the sick world of baseball, Manoah gets rocked in rookie ball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I'm not going to rip into Manoah. Enough people are doing that. He wrote a ton of checks. Some are starting to bounce. I think he'll be back at some point. At this point, you should be rooting for him to come back. Even, we're Yankee fans, and he killed us for a couple of years. You should be rooting for Alek Manoah to come back, because if this is how the Jolly Olive video ends, that's just really sad. Too far sad.
I don't know if more information's come out on that minor league appearance, but he might have been throwing all fastballs, just getting to a pitch count. It's like spring training, I have no idea. Maybe that did come out, whatever the game plan was there. Trying to find benefit of the doubt for him. Working on stuff.
I hope for Alek Manoah it is still part of the story, but I think it even highlights Judge missing and what happened to Alek Manoah yesterday. I think it highlights even more how impressive it is what Shohei Ohtani's doing, because last season, Alek Manoah finished third in the Cy Young, points ahead of Shohei Ohtani. And now Alek Manoah is getting lit up in rookie ball. Judge is hurt and is going to miss half the season. And Shohei's out there doing it on both sides regularly. Trev might not be wrong last year. I might not be wrong either. That's the problem. So, couple stars of baseball getting highlighted as we sneak towards All-Star Week, less than 2 weeks away now. We'll be out there. You probably heard us promote it, but we're doing an event at a brewery. Optimism Brewing. There's still tickets left. There's links everywhere. Come join us if you're out there. For now, join us for Corbin Burnes, and I don't think I'm going to do an outro or anything. So it's Corbin Burnes, and then the episode ends, and we'll see you next time. So, bye. maybe some more subscribers. I think we're at 10.9K.
Yeah, subscribe to this and check out the warehouse games. I don't know.
We're at 11K. Don't subscribe. We are joined by Corbin Burnes. Corbin, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. It's the first time in the studio, so it's
What do you think? It's a little weird rush coming into this office. You get the round of applause, which is kind of like, okay, is this a cult?
They probably didn't know who I was because the hair's cut, and they're kind of like, oh, we just the courtesy clap for these two guys walking in.
Was that the first time you've gone down low in a while? I haven't been tracking your hair as closely as I'd like.
So I think, gosh, it was prior to COVID that it was shortened up, and then once COVID hit and everything shut down, I just quit taking care of myself.
You let it ride.
Yeah, so it's been close to 3 years now.
And it's been working.
It
That's
has.
the other thing.
It has, but it's also the summers are really hot when you got the hair that long. So
you finally hit that gross point. Where
You definitely get to the point where it's sweaty and it's sticking everywhere. You're like, okay, my neck is hot. I need to cool off my neck. So.
There you go. How are you doing? How's the Brewers season felt? Because you get caught up in the grind. The Centrals, both Centrals have been messy this year. Like you're looking at the leaderboards and you're like, okay, you guys have actually been kind of the consistent. You've been around it. You've been a little over 500 floating around. Has it felt like a grindy summer? There's a ton of like kids on the team this year. I guess what's felt different this Brewers season than previous seasons?
Yeah, I mean, so we got off to a really hot start. We were looking around going, hey, if we can keep this rolling, we're gonna be where we want to be. And then obviously we cooled off a little bit, but like I said, we stayed consistent. We haven't had the huge highs, huge lows, which is kind of what you want in a season. But yeah, I mean, we've got a good team. I think we've still got our best baseball ahead of us for sure. And I think you ask anyone on that team, it's like, hey, yeah, we've got a good squad. We know when we turn it on, it's going to be go time, and we can take off with this division. But we just haven't quite clicked on all cylinders yet. And when we do, it's going to be exciting. So I think it starts with me at the top. I haven't thrown the ball the greatest this year, and you go all the way down, and you've got some guys in the bullpen that are throwing the ball well. But just offensively, we got some guys that are going to step up here soon. So. Just it's kind of been a strange season, like you said, but gosh, we're 80 games in now, and we're back in first place, so you can't complain. For
you, what's feeling different? Because I got into some of the numbers, and man, we talked 2 starts ago, and your numbers are pretty much in line with who you've been, and that's baseball, right? But I was seeing like righties are catching you a little bit more this year. Is that anything with pitch mix? Is it anything with luck? Is it anything with execution? Or I guess on your end, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just an adjustment that you see. Ever since really 2020, the league's always been adjusting a little bit here and there, and this year the righties have kind of caught up and caught on to what we're doing. So we're just kind of trying to make those adjustments. But yeah, I mean, for me, this year it's the big inning that's killed me. It's funny. You look at all the big starts that I've given up runs, and it's always one inning. If we can minimize that one inning, we're sitting pretty just like we have always. So for me, it's the adjustments. This game is 1 year you can be on top of the world, and the next year they figure out what you're doing. You got to make that adjustment. So
Cutter's still cutting though.
Cutter's still cutting, and we're still doing things the way we want to. But yeah, it's just that's how the game goes, and you just got to make adjustments and locate some stuff a little bit better here and there in a couple starts, and things are completely different. So not gonna complain with it. First half of 16 starts where we're at, and if that's a bad first half for me, and I'm gonna be all right.
Who's the I'll make you highlight one dude, which is always tough because normally you got to mention a couple guys. But there's a lot of new faces in Milwaukee this year, and I remember when we first linked up with you, we were stoked. We were in Milwaukee. John Boy ripped up his hamstring. We played blitzball. Can't even do that one. And we're like half media. We're not like I don't know. Wearing this necklace, like I don't know. We're whatever we are. That Sometimes we don't know what we're walking into, and you hung out with us, and we yucked it up for a while, and we're like, "Fuck, dude, you're like about to win the Cy Young. Like this is awesome." Who are the new? If you had to highlight one dude of like the new guys on the Brewers, where you're like, "That's a dude," who would it be?
Gosh, I mean we've got some really good young guys.
Yeah.
The one I think underrated guy that has gone down that's kind of hurt this year is Garrett Mitchell. Losing him early, I think was a big hit for us. But just some of these young guys we got come up, the energy they're bringing. For me, the one guy I think that's made the biggest difference, and it's not just on the field, but it's in the clubhouse and the energy is Joey Wiemer.
Yeah, he's that guy.
God, he's hilarious. He comes to the field every day. You have no idea if he's playing good, if he's playing bad. He's full of energy. It's for me, it's like what Willie Adames brought to us in 21.
Yeah,
when we traded for him, the energy he brought. Wiemer does the same thing for us. So for him to come in every day, he rocks the mullet. He's just
about it.
Says the dumbest stuff, and we love him. And he's the guy. He's filled in played a great center field since Mitchell went down, and he's the guy. If we're on the mound, hey Joe, I need you to run through this wall and catch this ball. He's like, all right, I got it. And he's gonna literally try to run over the wall. He's just, that's the kind of player he is. He plays hard, and he wants to win just as much as anyone. So for me, that he's probably been the biggest difference maker as far as a young guy come up, felt comfortable, goofy as hell, like just plays hard and has made a big impact on that clubhouse.
And he's starting to click. He's starting to click a little bit too.
He gets really streaky when he has his weeks where he gets hot. It's like, and he swings. He's trying to hit the ball 600 feet every time. It's great, and he's got to have the strongest obliques in the league for how he swings. So it's impressive.
Those energy guys too, man. It's tough because end of the day you have to play good baseball. Like if I hop in the Brewers clubhouse, I could bop around, bring some energy. We have a good time, but tough day at the office when it came time to work. But like Tommy Kahnle on the Yankees, he's like, he borderlines like crazy, like football guy, like nuts. But he was on the Yankees, left, he went to the Dodgers, and he was hurt for a year, and then he came back. And he's a guy that like that energy in the clubhouse day in, day out, especially the grind of baseball. Like you need those guys.
It's a difference maker. It's a long season. So just like for instance, the other night, like on the bus, him getting up and saying some stupid shit just gets us going. As,
right.
We had a long travel day. We got stuck in Cleveland for freaking 2 hours because we couldn't take out the tarmac. So like we needed it in the bus, and he's come up and doing stupid shit, and it's what you need. It keeps it light, it keeps it fun, and it makes that long seasons feel a little bit shorter.
Yeah, man. What else did I have for you? We got a lot of stuff for you lined up, so I won't do the full up interview.
Yep.
I do like doing the one of my favorite things to do, and I'll do it with your teammates, is give me you as a Frankenstein Brewers pitcher. You get 4 pitches. I'll give an example that I think you would pick. I'm gonna assume Devin Williams screwball changeup. And you don't get them from both arms. It's still coming out of your right side. But give me your 4, and I might have just clicked one.
Yeah, I definitely got to take the Devin changeup. Right now the Elvis Peguero sinker.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
I was looking at his stats. Man, I was like,
that
wow.
That thing is. It literally looks like a 97 mile an hour, like split finger fastball. Like it's nasty right now. I'll take my cutter. Let's see.
It's a good pick.
Freddie Peralta, when his slider's good, that big sweeper.
Yeah.
That's a good pitch.
Are you throwing a sweeper or slider, or does it not matter? Because that's kind of the whole thing in baseball.
The whole thing in baseball right now is naming your own pitches, and I don't get it.
It's ridiculous.
Forever, it's been like, hey, you got a 4-seam fastball, you got a 2-seam fastball.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of like, whoa,
hey,
whoa. Now I throw a cut fastball. Everyone's like, whoa. But now it's like we're naming. Like sliders and curveballs and split.
Yeah.
I throw a slider. You can call it whatever you want. Some days it might sweep. Some days it sucks. So you can call it whatever you want. But So then last, I think I got to take Woody's 4-seam fastball. The lift, he can get on it and throw the fastball at the top. So I think that gives me pretty good coverage there.
That's not bad. I did have one other thing I want to ask you, because I do love. When we were hanging out with you guys, Rowdy was hanging out. Rowdy's always hanging out.
All he does is hang out.
I love the way that ball players talk about other teams, and sometimes there's teams that we get caught up in the standings, and they tell a lot of the story, especially this point of the season. Like
right.
It's no shock the Texas Rangers are nasty.
Good
dude.
team.
They've got dudes. What I guess what are 2 teams, and if it's maybe one AL, one NL, that you guys played them this year and you walked away and you were like, shoot, like that's.
Yeah, I'll go AL first, and that Baltimore team. That's a good team.
Man.
They're young. We played a good series against them. I think we took the series against them, but I got to face that lineup, and
They bang, man.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not a
when they're
rest.
firing that offense. They got a bunch of young guys. They play hard. Yeah, I'm pretty good buddies with Aaron Hicks. So when he was over there, I got to talk to him and just see him, kind of come alive a little bit after his struggles
we've seen that too
in New York. But
did you see did Bautista and Cano come out of the pen?
They did. Yeah, we saw both of them. I think the first night. And yeah, I mean they've got a good squad. Their starting pitching could use a little bit of help, but yeah, I mean the back of their bullpen's good. Their offense is good. They play good defense. Cedric Mullins was hurt when we played them, so that obviously was a little bit of a helping factor for us because he's a good player. But yeah, Orioles they got a good squad, and Sneaky are going to be competitors in that division, in the AL.
They've been great all year
in general. We went in. Blue Jays are always good. Recently, they kicked the crap out of us, but yeah, I was surprised at how well that Orioles team was.
Okay, that's a good one.
NL. I think of teams that we played that were surprising. Let's see. The Reds obviously have been surprising as of late.
Yeah.
When we played them, they weren't that team.
Right.
When we played them, so I can't really say them. But
so many new dudes for them, man.
It's a different looking
Steer,
squad.
McLean, De La Cruz.
Yeah, I mean that's their young talent that's come up, and that offense can be exciting for sure.
Do you know when you play them next? Like, is that something? Because they just shot up the NL Central. Like they were kind of the last time, because we do national baseball stuff. The last time we talked about the Reds, it was like, the fans hate the owners, and like, are they, what's going on in Cincinnati? And the next update was like 112 in a row, and they've got literally like 7 new dudes in the lineup. Like, is there ever a point in the Brewers clubhouse that you're like, oh shit, like, I mean, I think the Reds are back.
we definitely, we saw it when they were winning. I can't remember who said it the other day, but it was like, hey, they just won 12 in a row, and they're only half game up on us. Like, we're a good team. Like, we need to realize that we're still a good team. That team has just won 12 in a row,
right.
And they're only half game up, and now we're back in first and a half game up over them. So it's like, hey, there's going to be stretches where teams are going to take off. The Pirates did it, and now they're struggling. So we can just play consistent baseball, and teams are going to have their surges. We just got to play the baseball we can, and know that we're the best team out there, and we can be the best team.
Sweet. Burnesy, like I alluded to, we got so much other crap for you, so let's get to it. But thank you, man.
Yep,
You're the best.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.